remember when it was time for me to apply for my Medicare, I was actually all over the place trying to figure it out. So here I am today trying to make it easy for you. I'm assuming that if you've clicked on this video, you already know what Medicare is. But if you don't, then the one-liner is, it's a national scheme in Australia that provides either free or subsidized healthcare. You are eligible for Medicare if you live in Australia and have applied for your permanent residency visa, or you've already got your permanent residency, you're an Australian citizen, or you're covered by an eligible visa. You could also be a temporary resident who's covered by ministerial orders to be eligible for Medicare. Here's the list that is covered by ministerial orders, or you can also find it on Service Victoria's website. If you fall under the category of applied for PR and are just waiting for grant, then the visas that are eligible for Medicare are 189, 190, 491 and your spouse visa. You can enroll in Medicare from the date you've applied for your permanent residency, or if you've applied outside of Australia, then the date you arrived to live here. In a spousal visa situation, you're eligible to apply for Medicare once you've submitted your spouse visa application. More details around the eligibility can be found on Services Australia website. Apart from these, you can also enroll in Medicare if you're a citizen of one of the islands or you have a reciprocal healthcare arrangement. To find more details about them, have a look at Services Australia website. In this video, I will be focusing on applying Medicare for someone who's applied their permanent residency, has got their permanent residency, or is covered by a ministerial order visa. I'm slowly building this channel where I bring more such useful content to make your processes easier. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more such content. Before we jump on to understand what the required documents are, let's have a look at some of the terms that are important for you to know. First one is lifetime health cover. If you're a migrant over 31 years of age, and if you want to purchase a private hospital health cover. This letter helps to determine if you are subject to lifetime health cover loading on your private health insurance. And the second one is individual healthcare identifier. It is a 16-digit unique number that is used to identify people in Australia for healthcare purposes. It's not mandatory to have this number for your Medicare application, but if you have it, provide it. Now let's have a look at documents required. If you're applying for Medicare, after applying for your PR, then the documents required will be, you'll need your current passport, you'll need proof of your PR lodgement. This could be the acknowledgement of your lodgement, or it could be your bridging visa, and you'll need your current visa as well. If you're applying for Medicare as a permanent resident, then you will need your current passport, proof of your permanent residency, which is your visa grant. You will also need proof of living in Australia. This could be your lease agreement, your utility bills, or your payslip. And make sure that these documents are within the last 6 months. If you are applying as someone covered by ministerial orders, you will need your passport and your current visa. You will just need copies of these proofs. You won't need to certify them. Just make sure that your documents are either in PDF, JPEG, PNG format. They're not password protected or they're not a zip file. Make sure each document is not more than 5 MB and in total they're not more than 10 MB. You don't need to visit a service center to apply for Medicare. You can just email your Medicare enrollment form and supporting documents to Medicare enrollment services. You can apply for Medicare in 2 ways. One is doing it online through myGov, or the second one is filling out the Medicare enrollment form and then emailing it. I'm going to start off the video by showing how to apply using the Medicare enrollment form. This is because it's how I did my enrollment and re-enrollment for Medicare. You can find the online enrollment form on Services Australia's website. I've also provided the link for the form in the description below. The first part of the application form will ask you your type of enrollment. So it will ask you what are you using this form for. So you've got options like enrolling in Medicare for the first time, re-enrolling in Medicare, or enrolling a newborn child, or registering for my health record. I'm going to focus this video on enrolling in Medicare for first time. So tick that, and then it will ask you to go through part A of question 2. This section will ask for your eligibility for Medicare. Depending on your situation, you could either choose you're applying as a permanent resident, or you're applying as someone who's applied for permanent residency, or you're applying for other visa holders. If you're enrolling for the first time, you can skip over the question 3, or question 3 would be valid for you if you're re-enrolling in Medicare or extending your eligibility. The next section asks you for a Medicare contact person. If you're applying for yourself, you would fill in your own details in this section, like your full name, any given names. If you have been known by any other names, then you can put that in, your date of birth, your gender, your address, your contact number, email, and if you need an interpreter. Question 11 is your individual healthcare identifier. Earlier in the video, we saw what that means. If you have it, provide it here. If you don't, then you can skip over it. In question 12, if you are enrolling for Medicare for the first time, you can jump directly to number 13. But if you're re-enrolling, then just put your previous Medicare card number and then jump to number 13. Question 13 and 14 will ask you if you are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, or if you are of Australian South Sea descent. Once you've answered those questions, go to question 15 if you've lived overseas in the past. If you have, then you will need to provide the details of your country of residence before arriving in Australia. How long have you resided in that country, and your date of arrival in Australia. And then it will also ask you, do you have plans to reside in Australia permanently? Depending on your situation, you can answer that. Question 20 is where it asks you, do you require lifetime health cover letter? We've had a look at what this means earlier in the video. Depending on your situation, you can either take yes or no. In my case, when I was filling out my Medicare application form, I actually ticked this as no. But after receiving my Medicare card, when I called up my insurance to swap my private health insurance to a resident health cover, they actually requested this letter. So if you were on a visa before applying for your permanent residency, then I would suggest, just to be on a safer side, just tick yes. Rest of the form is pretty straightforward. Just keep filling it as per your circumstances, and then once you're done, make sure to sign it. To submit the application form, you would need to save it in a PDF format, so make sure to save it as such. Also scan all of your required documents and keep them handy. You can either decide to email this application or you can post it. If you're emailing the application, make sure to write enrollment in your subject. Attach your enrollment form to that email, and also attach all of your documents to that email, and you can send it off to this email address. If you decide to post your application, then make sure to print out your form and all of your supporting documents, and you can send it to this address. Another way you can enroll for your Medicare is through myGov. I've not done it this way, but I'll provide the instructions for you. I won't be able to show you the complete process because I already have my Medicare card, but the questions would be almost the same as the paper-based application. They just might be in a different order or format. So to do it through myGov, visit Services Australia's website and then select myGov. If you already have a myGov account, you can sign in, or if you don't, you can create a new account. Once you're signed into your myGov account on your dashboard, scroll down and find View and Link Services. Once you click on that, it will show you all the linked services that you already have, and then it will show you a list of services that you can link. In that list, find Medicare and click on Link. On this page, it just gives you some information about storing your details. Once you've read through it, click I agree, and then it will take you to the next page. This is where you will select to enroll in Medicare, which is your option 2. So just select enroll in Medicare. It will then take you to the terms of use page. Have a read through that and then click on I agree once you're done. It will then ask you if you have an application number. If this is the first time you're applying, so you probably won't, so just click no and then click next. The next page will just give you some information about enrolling in Medicare and how long it will take. It will also provide you the links to have a look at what supporting documents you would need. Once you're done with that, click next. The next section will ask you about your citizenship or your visa status. Select whatever is relevant to you and then click next. It will then ask you if you've applied for one of the following parent visas, and it gives you the subclass of parent visas. Just tick no if you haven't. Remember though, parent visas are not eligible for Medicare until they have been granted. The next page will ask you if you're enrolling just for yourself or if you're enrolling yourself and others. In my case, I just selected myself and then click next. It will then ask you what document you're using to prove your identity. And it gave me two options. One was passport and IMI card, so I selected passport. After selecting that, it will get you to put in your passport details, followed by your name and date of birth. Once done, click next. It will then ask you, have you been living outside of Australia for more than 5 years? And then depending on your situation, you can answer that question. The rest of the form is pretty straightforward. Just fill the form as per your circumstances, and once you're done, submit it. Let's have a look at costs and timeline now. There is no cost to apply for Medicare, so if you are eligible to apply for Medicare, you can just apply. The website says that it can take about 3 to 4 weeks to get your Medicare card, but in my case, it was way longer, more like 6 to 7 weeks to get it. Let me know in the comments below how long it took for yours. There are different colors of Medicare card that you can get depending on your circumstances. So let's just have a quick look at what the different types of Medicare cards are. As a standard Medicare card, it will be green in color. If you have an interim Medicare card, it will be blue in color, and there will be a yellow card for any countries that have reciprocal healthcare agreement. The standard Medicare card is valid for 5 years, so before your card expires, they will send you a new one. If your address has changed in those 5 years, just make sure to update it. If you are an applicant for permanent residency, then you will get the blue Medicare card. The validity of the card is specified on the card itself. If your conditions or visa status have not changed, then they will just send you a new Medicare card before your expiry. I remember in my case, my Medicare expiry had passed and I hadn't received my card. So I actually gave them a call, and they did confirm they've sent out my Medicare card, and I just received it a day or two later. And that's it. You have now successfully applied for your Medicare card. If you want to know how to apply for your Australian citizenship or for your passport, then keep watching. I'm slowly growing this channel to help people just like you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like my videos to see more such content.